So if you're a new car guy, this video is for you. By the end of this video, you're going to know how to completely navigate the car community. This guide is something that every car guy needs because there are both good and bad sides of our community, and if you end up on the wrong side of it, you're going to ruin it for everyone else. I'm going to walk you from all the steps from when you get your car to diving into the community. Now, I'm talking as someone who used to be pretty ratchet with how I drove and the types of things I did with my car, so trust me, I know a thing or two. Let's say you just got your new whip, it has decent power, and you've already started planning your vision for the car, and you're looking for aftermarket parts before you even think about doing any of this stuff. Make sure your car is up to date on any type of maintenance, whether it's oil, brakes, weird noises, alignment. Don't be the guy who blows all his money on parts without fixing his car first, because once you start installing mods, the reliability of your car goes down a notch depending on what it is. I just hate the lingering thought in my head of having to fix my car. Just get out of the way, you'll thank yourself later. And bonus points for you if the previous owner did all this stuff for you, but be sure to check. This sort of leads us to step 2. Finding a reliable shop in your area to work on your car, and one that has no problems installing aftermarket parts. This can actually be really easy to do if you already have some car guy friends, but if you don't, be sure to call around. You want to find a place that is run by car guys or doesn't just work on your average Toyota Corolla that pulls in. I'll give you guys an example. I take my cars to Eurofed, which primarily works on European performance cars and even supercars like Porsche, Audis, and Lamborghinis. It's kind of funny that I take my cars there because I have a Lexus, but the techs there have to be experienced when working on these types of cars, because if they break something, they'd be in very big trouble. And it's generally people who love cars that work there, so they aren't just clueless on when you ask them about certain modifications or things you want to do to your car that other traditional mechanics would be clueless about. Now, don't get me wrong, if you're just doing some maintenance to your car, let's say you have a stock car, if you don't want to do it yourself, taking it to your local trustworthy mechanic isn't a bad idea. Just be sure to always look at the reviews. And don't be afraid to call around for different quotes. Some places will try to charge you an arm and a leg that takes 30 minutes to do. And when you lower your car, depending on how low you go, most places will not be able to perform a proper alignment. Now, coming in at step number 3, this is actually finding car meets or fellow car guys you can roll with. Facebook and Instagram have to be the best places to do this. This is especially easy if you have a car that has a large community like Mustangs, 240SXs, Infinitis, 350s, and 370Zs. All you need to do is go to these groups on Facebook and look for communities for your car. You'll find either nationwide groups and sometimes even local car groups if you're lucky. Joining car groups for your state is also going to help you meet a lot of other cool people at events, and you'll be able to find people with your type of car there too. You can also find pages on Instagram that are for car meets in your state, and they'll post weekly car meets on their stories or on their feed. One example of this is in Atlanta. There's this car meet called Unknown, which does nightly meets, and it's pretty crazy how many cars will come out. But you also have to be careful. A lot of these meets can be unsanctioned and are more of takeover events, so the police will be called and you're risking getting a ticket or even your car impounded. You sort of have to gauge the type of people and vibes that are at these events, and just know that if you see any Hellcats or Infinities there, you should just leave immediately, because you're either going to be hit by one of these at 100 miles an hour, or they're going to get you in trouble for something that you didn't even do. And I feel bad for you if you end up going to one of these takeover events, especially in California, because the police out there are out for blood. And now we have step number 4, and that's having the right car meet etiquette. So when you show up at these meets, trust me, I know, like especially if you're a teenager and you're just in your early 20s or so, you will feel the need to act ratchet. I know, I've been there. Whether it's revving, burnouts, or donuts, just know that doing these in excess is totally uncalled for, especially if it's an organized and large event that has permission to be there and also vendors on site. Some of these meets will also have cruises, which are pretty fun, but you also need to understand the risks that you're taking driving like a hooligan on main roads. I personally have problems with people who cut up in traffic doing almost 100 miles an hour. This is endangering not just yourself, but tons of other people around you. And all it takes is just one small mistake and you could ruin your life and other people's lives. Just be chill and don't give in to peer pressure. Leave the big ultimate energy for people who have nothing to lose. Take it to the track or go to an undisclosed location where there aren't tons of people around. Also, don't be the guy who tries to park his stock 1990 Civic next to a whole bunch of supercars. Usually when you pull up to these types of events, there will be certain sections for certain types of cars. You just have to pay attention to those, and there might be staff around that'll tell you exactly where you need to go. Also, don't be the guy who is always so judgmental of everyone else's build or put other people down for having a slow car. I really don't like these types of people at meets who try to one-up everyone or make it all about how fast their car is. We are all car guys at the end of the day, and speed speed is not everything, and there's so much more about cars that make them cool than just that. Next, at step number 5, be sure to actually attempt to work on your car, but be careful, especially if you plan to lift it up on jacks. I recommend getting big red jack stands along with a reliable rolling jack that can lift up to 4,000 pounds. Another tip is to have something like bricks or wood behind your car tires to prevent the car from rolling back while you're working on it. This is very important. Don't be afraid to watch some YouTube videos as well or tutorials online. Do not underestimate how much your car weighs, because it can easily unalive you if you are negligent. Also, always make sure that you're lifting the car up using the actual jack points on your car, which you can actually find on Google. So if you don't know, you can also look at the pinch welds along the side of your car. You also save a lot more money working on your car, but sometimes there are things that are just not worth risking your life over just to save a couple $100s. You can learn a lot working on your own car, and it will carry on to future cars that you purchase. And finally, at step number 6, it's enjoy yourself, man. Life is short, and I think being a car guy is one of the funnest things anyone can do. Sure, it can be pricey, but that's just motivation for you to work harder to achieve your dreams and get that car you've always wanted. Now, personally, I'm a pretty introverted guy, but I've realized that doing car things with fellow car guys makes it a lot more enjoyable of an experience, especially if someone gets to enjoy your car as much as you do. If you think I left something off of this guide, let me know in the comment section. Be sure to subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.